Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/infidelity, where we have another example of why you should never let your significant other have a guy best friend. Let's begin. A friend of mine got divorced and lost custody of her kids, and I wonder what she did wrong. Posted by Reddit user NC
This friend is like a sister to me, but we don't get to talk as much now because life happened. I'd get sporadic conversations about how her divorce was going, and it was going for about 2 to 2.5 years before it was all final. She has 2 little kids and she now gets to see them only once every 2 weeks for a weekend. She doesn't have any substance issues, has normal mental health, was not the abusive partner. She was the breadwinner and got financially abused by her husband betting all their savings on meme stocks, and he got abusive when confronted. She's an immigrant and he has established roots. She asked for a temporary separation, but since their state doesn't have legal separation, he asked her to file for a divorce so he could cover his ass while he was moved out without being found guilty of abandonment. She, not knowing better, did. He then escalated abuse and then went hard into the divorce. They had a temporary custody arrangement where he was getting to see the kids alternate weekends and she had primary custody. But she suspected bipolar or autism or some other mental health issue and kept pushing for him to get a mental health eval. He obviously pushed back and he wanted 50%. He also blocked any sale of the house or investigation into his finances. Eventually it went to trial, and the judge basically called her crazy and took away her legal custody and gave her alternate weekends. I don't have much experience with stuff like this, and I don't know how to think about this or what to say to her. It sort of felt like this was a mistake to start with. Like she should probably not have filed for divorce like that. And she should probably not have pushed for sole custody because chances of getting that are pretty rare these days, right? I actually know folks on meth getting 50% custody of their kids, so high-functioning autism probably wouldn't convince a judge. The abuse in question seems like he broke a few objects and came at her threateningly, and she asserted he neglects his children when they are with him. It feels like few courts would take that seriously. I can't help but wonder, how would one have to go about this to have as amicable a separation as possible, especially with a hostile spouse?
Gee, I don't know, OP. I can't help but wonder myself if you've only heard one side of this story while the judge has seen and heard both. Did you ever even think of that? Anyways, let's check out this comment exchange between OP and other Reddit users.
You're not getting the whole story. A lot happened from point A to B, and your friend most likely doesn't have clean hands. Or, she didn't have a lawyer, the ex did, and she broke the number 1 rule. If one side has representation, you better as well and don't take legal advice from the soon-to-be ex. Yeah, something went belly up with her lawyer during the trial. She blames everything on that. And yes, when I saw the wiki, I saw Rule 1 and was like, oh okay, that makes sense. Belly up with lawyer usually means the case so bad the lawyer does not want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to go on the specifics, but the lawyer indeed fucked up in a variety of ways that apparently can't be made up. But she also had to change lawyers twice, which clearly means what you're saying is probably right.
My girlfriend had an emotional affair that lasted a month. I'm feeling guilt over not seeing a path to reconcile. Any help? Posted by Reddit user Squared Out.
Apologies in advance for the length and disorganized structure. Still trying to process everything and it's very fresh. My partner, Alice, carried on an emotional affair for a month with an old friend, Mark. We have lived together now for over a year. I'm super close with her family. She brought a dog and a cat into the relationship and I love them both dearly, and if we split she will be keeping them. This friend is someone I've known about for a while, but I've never met. She told me they were close when she was single, but she ended the friendship when he confessed feelings for her. About a year into our relationship, he started messaging her on Instagram and eventually they met up to grab a drink.
By the end of this, you are going to be crying like a little bitch.
He again confessed feelings for her, and she showed me the texts from after their meeting. She turned him down and said they can't be friends then because she's with me and doesn't feel that way about him. Flash forward about a year to Halloween weekend 2023. We're supposed to go to a party together on a Saturday night, but I'm sick from going out the night before with her, so I decided not to go. While she's there, she sends me a text saying, by the way, Mark is here. I thought that was a bit weird. She hadn't even mentioned him to me since the last time they met as far as I know. For some more background, we actually recently started couples counseling because we've had some arguments lately and are both not very good at dealing with conflict, and we talked about this situation in there. She is also very jealous of me sometimes, and will get really insecure if I go out without her, talk to any woman, etc. She assured me that Halloween night when she reconnected with Mark was nothing, that he was respecting our relationship, and she would end it if he ever crossed a line. This whole part makes me feel sick because I feel like we spent an entire session dissecting my feelings of jealousy towards their friendship, like I was wrong for being suspicious. Also, the reason she gave for wanting to reconnect was that one of her best friends had just basically ghosted her. She broke up with her brother, and so she wanted to try to pursue a friendship with him again. We talked about it a lot and I was apprehensive. I told her I wanted to meet him and just see how it feels. She said she texted him asking that, and that was that. She told me he invited her to a hockey game, box seats. He seemed to be trying to throw his money around too. He is pretty well off, but she turned that down after talking with me. Flash forward to this past Sunday. We had a great Thanksgiving break together. We've been talking about how wonderful therapy had been going. We haven't fought in so long. We have been intimate more often together. We're planning trips for next year. Then Sunday hits, and she decided to drink a bottle of vodka by herself. I guess I should also mention she struggles with alcohol addiction, and will sort of go through periods where she drinks every day, and then takes breaks for a few weeks, but then falls back into it. I've always felt like one of the big hurdles for us was that when she's drinking, it's basically impossible to have discussions, and she becomes extra sensitive, and I feel like I have to walk on eggshells. But I digress. After being moody and drunk all day, and asking me accusingly what I'm doing on my phone when I'm just browsing Reddit, she says she's going to walk our dog. This is around 9 p.m. or so, I believe. After being gone for about an hour, I'm worried and text her if she's okay. She says, "Yup, I'm just about home, but there's a weird guy following me." So I immediately ran outside, and just saw her and the dog walking up. She tells me he refused to poop. She seems visibly hammered at this point, but I didn't really think anything of it at the time, and I told her, "Okay, I'll walk him around the block one more time and you head home." I got back home and she is puking. She then goes and passes out on the couch, and I fall asleep feeling completely weirded out by the whole day. I woke up a few hours later and I saw her phone on the bed next to me. It lit up and I saw it had some texts from Mark. I opened it up with her password, which thank God I know, and the messages say, "I know this situation sucks, but so glad I got to see you tonight and I miss you already." I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm desperately trying to find my phone to take pictures of the messages while she sleeps in the other room. I managed to take about 20 screens worth of texts, and it seems like it all started that night on Halloween. There's no evidence that anything physical happened in the texts, and at the moment, she still claims that all that happened is he tried to kiss her twice, and she turned it down. The messages make me sick, though. They clearly talked about me as if I was some abusive monster that yells at her. Not true. He sarcastically asks if I gave her a lecture when she got home from walking the dog. They share playlists on Spotify with a playlist name that combines their names with a heart. Same thing we did when we started dating. They send each other love songs to listen to. She talks about how bad she feels that she's making him wait for her to make a decision about what to do. On Sunday night, she texted him that she needed to see him and that he should bring a bottle of wine. She says she needs to see his face. He immediately leaves his place and comes to meet her. She says to park a street over. I work from home, and she has a retail job where she doesn't work Mondays. Yesterday, she begged me to stay and work things out. I was so fucking mad at first. I told her I was going to send all the texts to all of his coworkers, managers, clients at his fancy tech job. I was going to tell her family why we are breaking up. I cooled down eventually and I broke down. I cried in front of her, which I really didn't want to do.
Wow, like a bitch.
And that's what Frieza said.
I told her I want more than anything for our life back, but it was never real. She's devastated, says she never cared about him, that she was confused and thought we were going to break up before we went to therapy, but now she knows she wants to be with me. She'll do anything. She texted him it was over, and that it was wrong, and that she can't be friends with him ever because he always had ulterior motives. She tells me that it just felt good to have someone be so sweet to her when we were struggling, but that it was a huge mistake and that she's so sorry. They fucking talked about having a wedding in their texts, having kids where he would provide for her and she wouldn't have to work. Shit like that. Anyway, sadly, I kind of broke last night and let her comfort me. We slept in the bed together and held each other and it felt good, but I feel like I am just slipping into forgiving her because I don't want my life to change. I do care about her, but I have no excuse for how she treated me, and I don't know how I can ever trust her again. Is there any chance we can reconcile? If they had just hooked up on Halloween and she came clean, it would be one thing. But this was lying to me for an entire month. This was having a full-blown emotional relationship with someone who knew all about me. I feel so violated, so embarrassed and ashamed. She's saying all the right things now, but she was caught, she didn't confess. I just don't know how we can ever come back from this. But I don't know if I have the strength to tell her it's over. I just want to take care of her when she is sad and devastated. Has anyone ever repaired a relationship from an emotional affair like this? How is it possible?
OP, if you sincerely believe that this is just an emotional affair that's just started a month ago, then you are fucking delusional. This affair of theirs is definitely physical and had been going on for a long time. Don't waste any more of your time with this hoe. She's for the streets. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.